Okay, these two bosses here are where the zinc is going to bolt in from the other side, and I tapped these holes all the way through so I could get nice clean threads to the bottom. Now I'm taking a stainless steel set screw, which stainless steel set screw is really only about half thickness of being solid. The other part is the Allen wrench here. So we're going to put this like about halfway in there. We're going to do the same thing with this one here. We're going to get them both in here because when we try another Allen here. That one might have been boogered up. No? Alright. Just something right there at the beginning of the thread, I think. Okay, both those in there about the same height. Now we're just going to take the heliarc and, or the, we're just going to TIG weld. We're just going to TIG weld without any rod. We're going to melt that right on over and seal off the bottom of those threaded bosses. That seals off those threads, so water's not going to leak through that, or that's real nice. That gives a nice finish to it. Okay, the other one, do the same thing. Okay, we're ready to actually start tacking our frame to the shaft, and after this there's no going back or being able to work anything separate. The shaft is 100% complete with the square and the notch. We've got our 45-degree square head set to the table because we're on 2 precision rollers that hold this thing level, and 1 screw jack over here which pitches it, so we actually, it's like 1/450 or one, give or take 10 thousandths to the center line. And to the very top surface of this 1/8" web going around the whole blade, it's basically 3.5. And so you can quickly eyeball them going around. We're within about 20 thousandths for this entire rudder blade. And I'm gonna let it go with those tolerances. I'm going to hold at least 20 thousandths on this rudder right now. But now we're going to be welding, and the thing is going to warp and it's going to move around and everything else, but we're going to be staggering this thing as best we can, and no matter what, we have to answer the phone. Okay, I forgot exactly where I was at. But like I said, we're getting ready to tack this to the frame. We had the 3.5 all the way around on the top here. We're going to let it go at, we're going to try to hold 20 thousandths. Oh, I was going to say, we're able to check this all this run out of this frame until we're ready to put this cap on. Because the last thing that we have is actually center, and once we put this on here, we won't have actual center right to this end. We may have to do a little grinding on the end of this stem down here just so that it comes in and we get a nice fit. I mean, it really does fit real nice now. So we're going to take it slow, because too much weld, too fast, without enough support, will warp this thing beyond being able to put a nice smooth skin on it. And that's what we're really trying for. This is the first step. Then the next step will be to put our flat webs on the 3 center runs. And then after that, we start making a pattern and we create the skin. Real happy with our zinc pocket. I mean, just totally. And our plug holes, I think those are going to come out real nice. I like how they're real shallow to the face. I originally picked up stainless steel plugs for them, and I'm really thinking about seeing if I can find some nice Delrin or plastic Allen head plugs for those holes, just so that we have a material that we know that we can always get it out. I'd hate to see a stainless steel plug go in there and not be able to flush the thing out for repairs or top the fluids off to start with. All right. Okay, we're getting a little bit more ready than we were. We went ahead and we put our ground clamp right on the square here. We don't want to arc out through bearings, and it kind of adds a little bit more weight to make it so that I lean or put my hand pressure over here on this side of the second roller here. I'm not tending to tip the thing down or move it or shift it. And we have just went around, double checked everything here. We're going to start, we're just going to be lightly putting small tacks. Now I have a number 7 gas lens on here, and I can extend my tungsten out a little bit so that I can get a few spots in here. And if it seems to be too big, bulky or whatever, I'm going to have to downsize it to standard number 4 or 3 lens there, just so I can get into there. But I think I'll be able to plan this out to where I can work it around, and I really shouldn't be cramping up, because basically we're just going to be going in and doing some minute spot welding until we're able to pull our clamps and everything else, and it's holding its own. Then I should have no problem getting into it, because I've done all the details on the pockets. So basically it's the frame to the shaft. We were already able to, by holding this over here, keep this nice and tight all the way around here without this clamp being in our way. So, and I went ahead and I cleared out so I could throw my pedal back and forth underneath the table and just walk around the end with my torch so I can get to everywhere comfortably in the right hand mode so far. Alright, I'm going to put a small tack here, small tack over here, and that's going to be clocking this very top plate. I can see that it's tight down here on the back side, so I'm going to put one down in here. Maybe. Oh yeah. clamps here, readjust, and just make sure and double check everything, rotation, the whole shooting match, and then go for our next set of tacks. Yeah, I think that marks pretty much the whole top piece here. Take a look at it. Pretty good. I think we're going to run a clamp, pull everything straight with this blade right here, all the way down. We've got to put 1/8" spacer and then a strong bag, top and bottom. We're going to run it straight on down through the back side here. And the front should turn and take care of itself. he called my cell after he called there and left that. That was like before 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, I'm just getting it now.
Okay, all right, bye.
All right, very good. Yeah, bye.
This is our second rudder, but here's the first strip, and I hammer a slight curve until I get this to fit this leading edge here. I get it up here, and we start tacking, we pull it down. I'll show you on this one here. I got a few more tacks here to put on this one. Trying to get a good stagger of 1 inch spacing on all these tacks. Go ahead and we're going to start bending this. I just got a round manual over there, and I just got a rubber hammer and just get a little leading edge here. Nothing special about it. Bend it so that it's got a pretty good start to that bend there. I have this little standoff that I pitch it up here because I want this nose to come on down close to get right at the end where I'm supposed to be getting that shape. I'm trying to create as close as possible shape right to that end and also the tail end. Alright, so and I just got a piece of the 1/8 material here. So that I can make sure that I have 1/8 by 1/8 as my wall prep for this. And I'm eyeballing so that this edge right here, I'm eyeballing, you know, to where it actually sitting there about 1/8 of an inch, somewhat in line. All right, now we want one tack right at the beginning. Now we start working this as it's laying down. I know that it bends this out a little bit, but that'll be coming back in there in our later steps here. Now, I kind of like a couple of vice grips. I picked up a couple new ones, not that I needed to increase my collection. I needed to have something that I could reach in these holes here and clamp down so I can create a good fit all along this piece here. Alright, and a little piece right there, gauging. Just run this all the way along our whole edge here as we're hitting each tack so that we maintain parallelism about every inch. Now we'll go for the bottom one. Flip it over, get the last side. Okay, we flipped this over. The other side was the opposite of this, and we have our straight edge here with our little 1/8 offset, which that registers this edge right here, this surface right here, and right over the shaft. It's pretty good, and that's been the cases on both sides and even on the other rudder. The other one was a little high on the center one, and these would rock back and forth, and this one here's a little hollow on the side, and these are a little bit proud. All right, we're a little bit high here, so this is fat in this area right here. And when we take this down to measure up here, we'll be bringing this down and touching here. So we're fairing out the support of the sides here, so that when we roll those 1/8" bands, just like we did the other side, everything on the outside, the skin laying down on this outside surface, will be touching all of these points. So that's the exercise here. So before we actually start tacking and welding those strips on, this is the process that we did, and we're going ahead. We'll just go ahead and take the high side. And we go ahead and massage it with our sander until we check here and going back and forth. And that's what we're doing to get everything to blend right in. We're basically working that distance from there to there right now. Making sure we're not digging it or making any mini valleys. It's needing a lot less, just basically in the center area there now. Alright, we'll continue sanding on that until we get those ready to tack weld on. We'll bring you back in. Okay, the last place I'm tacking is the nose and the tail end of the wing sections here. And I've got two 1-inch box tubes C-clamped in so that this straight line right up next to the nose is here. Now I've taken a straight punch, and after this is clamped up here, I was able to go ahead and tap these in here so that right up next to the edge, this one's out just a little bit, but bring that so that that angle is true right up there. Now this is going to get welded, and there's going to be some grinding and everything else that's going to finish off the shape up here. But we want to minimize the twisting and everything of this whole thing. So I'm just going to put tack and tack. Tack, tack. And I'm a stagger. Tack, 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 tack. Back and forth, back and forth. Alright, and that's probably majority of the use of the welding positioner is so that I can quickly roll this thing over and do the opposite tack or the opposite weld beat. So I can keep the stagger from side to side even, and then we'll keep the rudder blade straight and uniform. Now that we got the front and back tacked together, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start running our prepped out beads along here so that we're going to be joining these. After we do these three centers, we're going to be staggering around, and then we're going to hit the top and the bottom there. And then the last thing that we'll do will be the round beads that we need to go around the shaft to join those. And of course we're going to leave the top one here until very last when the skin is on, and that skin will be welded. Then the full weld bead around the top of the rudder will be the last weld on the rudder. So far that's the plans. Okay, let's make a couple patterns for skins. We want to go ahead and finally, we're going to create a skin pattern. We've got both of our rudders, and just be on the safe side, we're going to make a pattern from each rudder. And we're just going to pick one side and we'll be mirroring it side to side. Now, I got this paper under here, and this is going to be our pattern itself, but I want to get, I can move it, okay, because it's not touching over here. So I'm going to take this pair of pliers, I think, these will fit under here, and I'm cranking it up until we can't pitch it, meaning we can't shift it, alright? And it looks fair. I'm not worried about it being exactly centered because we're going to lay it down and create the cutout from it. Now, we need to get this up against our rudder, so you got to take a pair of your wife's pajamas and pull those underneath here, and it is put it all the way against there. And of course, she only donated one pair of pajamas, so I have a couple other things here that we can use. A couple old towels here. Alright, and now I'll just take and push the rest of this in here. This is just so you can lightly hold it up there and it's not going to completely deform everything. And there, that looks pretty good. Alright, now I'm going to be marking a couple things while we got this here. And one all the way around the outside is a given. And then I'm going to be marking a couple places on the inside because we want a proper corner joint for our top and our bottom. These here we're going to go ahead and give a parallel line marking each of these ribs. Then we'll be able to drill or plasma cut round holes that will be in line with this strut in these three locations here, and that's what we're going to rosette weld. So these rosette welds and the full weld around the outside is what's going to hold the skin on to each of these rudders. Alright, now I got a pretty sharp Sharpie, and we're going making as detailed as we can. Mark our struts. They're wide enough that we can generalize this line here. This one here is not so important to be trimmed as that outside one there, but we want them to be as accurate as possible. So we're staring down and we're trying to Alright, now I'm going to reach in here because I can put a couple lines in here and a line in here, and this just basically showing the thickness of this. And I think that's all I need to really have as far as the skin. When you take the paper and you curve it around there, you're going to make the right shape, and then when you lay it flat, then it's the true size that you actually need to be cutting. Same way as we did with the auto car hood patterns. And one of these days I might have a video put together on making that auto car hood. Alright, now we can go ahead and we can pull out our towel and pajamas, pull out our pliers, and we can lift up our rudder, and there's our skin pattern. Now I'll lay this out. We're going to get the stainless steel on the table, and we're going to lay this out. We're going to lay our pointer, set up our pointer on our pop-away torch assembly, and we're going to be pinpointing all of this, and we're going to draw this right on the plasma can.